Hi, welcome everyone. We are in module 7, part 1 of the hip. This is a lengthy, no pun intended, lecture content. So we're going to break our group fitness into 2 portions. So this will be the first part, and then we'll revisit those slides and dip back into the second part because there's a lot of action that happens in the hip and the leg, as I'm sure you know. So some of the things you're going to hear today are hip flexor and hip abductor. So those are the pieces that we're going to be looking at today. And then we'll move into some of those other fine-tuned nuances of the leg and hip as we move forward with next week. Okay, so to get started, we'll go ahead and sit with the soles of the feet together and the knees draping open. Drawing the hands along the blades of the feet, I'll ask that you bring the legs up and really start to engage those hip flexor muscles. You can feel that these are the inner leg lines, often associated with the psoas and groin, and then go ahead and press to open. So a little bit of a resistance stretch. Let's do that 2 more times. So draw up, really providing pressure in with the arms as the arms press away the legs. And soften, and if you're shaking a little bit, that's great, so am I. Draw the legs in, press, and soften. And you may also notice that you have a little bit of additional range as you draw in that energy into the hip flexor. So that's a great way to go ahead and kind of soften and lengthen through the psoas and groin. We're going to come onto the back body and start leg circles. So all the way down, extending one leg into the air. Go ahead and rotate that femur bone in the hip socket so you have range of motion. We talked about the slides addressed how that head of the femur bone can knock against the pelvis. So we always want to have a really nice external rotation here. Soft tuck of the chin, hands are resting beside you. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, draw that leg towards the body, so medial, and then circle it down, around and up. Inhale. Exhale, draw it towards you, around and up. We'll do that just 2 more times. Draw it towards the body, around and up. Notice that the hips are relatively stable. Inhale and exhale. We're going to go ahead and reverse that. Maintain that external rotation so the knee is essentially facing the outside of the mat. Soft tuck of the chin, back body grounded. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, sweep that leg open to the side so pinky side is face down. And now draw it to the midline and slice through center. 3 more times just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last inhale and exhale. Nicely done. Go ahead and extend that leg long. The opposite leg is going to reach to the sky. With the help of the hands, a nice manual shift. Find that external rotation. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, sweep that leg towards the body, so moving medial, around and up. Inhale. Exhale. Here's 3 and 4. Good. Arriving back at center, prepare to reverse. Inhale. Exhale, sweep the leg open, arrive at the midline, and now draw a straight line to slice through center. Inhale and exhale. Here's 3 and 4. Good. So working into those abductors as we shift the leg away from the body. Extend both legs overhead. Go ahead and thread the hands below, beneath the low back to help support. We're going to work deep into those hip flexors. So if the hamstrings are tight, go ahead and bend the legs in half. Extending overhead, soft tuck of the chin. Inhale to lower the legs. Back body stays grounded. Exhale, lift back through center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Just 2 more. I know these are a lot. It's okay to shake. And center. Last, lower. And lift. Good. Get a little stretch as you draw the knees into the chest. And now walking the knees wide to the edges of the mat, we're just going to stretch open those hip flexors and abductors at the same time. So drape the knees to one direction so you feel a little stretch for the abductor as you feel a stretch for the hip flexor. Back to center and other side. Center and shift. Be mindful to keep the feet wider than hips distance here so you have room for the knees to drape. And this should be relatively effortless, right? Like let gravity help support you here. Let this movement happen organically, but notice the spaces that are opening in opposition. And back to center. Nicely done. We're going to go ahead and shift onto the belly. So in a prone position, we're going to move to double leg kick. So I like my arms in an L shape, almost as if replicating like a Sphinx pose, if that resonates with you. Pressing actively down through the elbows. Let the tummy draw in and up. Energy through the legs, and we're going to kick, kick, and lower. Kick, kick, and lower. So you can feel engagement for the extensors here, which we'll talk a little bit more about next week in the hamstrings, but also lengthening here for the hip flexors that reside along the front of the body. Kick and extend. Last kick and extend. Nice. Make a pillow for head, chin, or cheek. Come back to those windshield wipers now on the belly. Wag the legs side to side.